snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys, so I'm here today to do a book review, and the book I'm going to be reviewing is one I actually read all the way back in April, but I've only just got a chance to sit down and film this review. But it was a book that I still vividly remember and still would hugely recommend. I really enjoyed this book. This is a book which I haven't heard many people talk about, to be honest. It is, I believe, a self-published book which has been picked up by a publisher since. I loved this. The book I'm talking about is The Shadow of What Was Lost, and it's by James Islington. It's the first one in a series of high epic fantasy books, and the series is called the Lickenish Trilogy. This book gave me so many vibes of kind of Sanderson meeting Robert Jordan, kind of both of those things, which is great because I loved both of the series by Sanderson and by Jordan, and of course Sanderson did work on the end of Wheel of Time, so all of those kind of vibes were in this book. If you like Wheel of Time or if you like Sanderson, I feel like you're gonna love this series as well. This book is just so filled with magic, with adventure, with quests. Three of my favourite fantasy tropes right there. So I knew that this was going to be one I probably would like. I have had it for quite a few years and just not got around to it, but I finally did, and I was so glad I did. I mainly got around to it because my boyfriend read it, and he doesn't usually read books before me, to be honest, but when he said it was amazing, I knew I had to read it sooner rather than later, and I'm very glad I did. We follow a world where there are a few different types of magical people. We have the gifted, we have shadows, and we have augurs. Although many people believe that augurs are no longer around, these three people are all linked by the type of magic that they use, which is called essence, although we do later on find out about another type of magic as well, and this is drawn from the environment around them, so the environment gives them their magic. The gifted once ruled over the land and had complete control over the non-gifted people. This was really tyrannical. There were some really horrible dictatorish people who had magic and who were gifted, and so there was a massive rebellion, and the gifted actually basically enslaved themselves. They kind of signed this treaty which means they can only do certain things, and they have these laws that they cannot break called the tenets. This restriction obviously rankled a lot of the gifted people. They didn't like it, they didn't like being controlled in this way, and so there is still a lot of friction between non-gifted and gifted people in this world. Shadows are people who were gifted once, but then they fail some of the tests they have to go through, and so they have their powers actually taken away. This group is much smaller than the gifted group of people in the world, but as you go on and the story goes on, you see that they have their own different agendas and their own things that they believe in fighting for. The main three characters that we follow are called Davian, Weir and Ashe, and I really enjoyed all of them. They are three best friends who are at the academy together. They're all in training to become gifted, and they all have magical powers, although we don't necessarily know the full extent of Davian's powers because he has not really fully unlocked all of his potential yet. Davian is scared because the tests are coming up at the time we enter the story, and he doesn't really know exactly what his powers are or how to use them yet. He hasn't really got to the point that all of his friends around him have, so he's really worried that he's going to become a shadow. When he meets an elder in town mysteriously, and the elder tells him a little bit about what's going on politically, he decides that he needs to go on an adventure. This elder has told him something very crucial, something very secret, that means that he has to leave the academy straight away. No questions asked, he just has to get out of there and go. Weir is a student at the school with Ashe and Davian, as I say, and the three of them are really good friends. They've always been good friends. Weir has a secret backstory though that no one else really knows. Even his two best friends don't necessarily know his origins, where he comes from, his family history, any of that stuff. They just don't know because he doesn't like to tell them. They know it's something secret, they know it's something sensitive to him, and so they don't really inquire or ask too much about it. His past is, however, slowly revealed as you go through the book, and it is super interesting, so that's something to watch out for. Ashe is the female in their group. She is actually left behind when the boys go on their adventure together because Weir accompanies Davian, but I really liked this because it meant that she was a different place from everyone else, and so she could give us this different viewpoint, and she also has her own adventures, and she in herself is a pretty awesome character who I really liked as a character to read about. She is left to uncover some of the secrets of the council, the North Warden, and of the administration, who all kind of get her in their clutches, and all of this is very important as the plot goes on. As I said at the very start of this, I think Robert Jordan, or anyone who likes his books, you will probably like this. I will say the Wheel of Time series is notorious for having an awful lot of extra detail. I don't feel like this book does. I feel like it gets a lot quicker to the action and to the point. Seeing as this is only going to be a 3-book series, not a 14-book series, you should be okay to dive into this one without too much hassle. But I do think that if you like that sort of style of big, epic, sprawling worlds with lots of magic, lots of characters, lots of adventures, lots of different councils and types of people, all of those things together in a book and a big, epic sort of world, you're going to like this story. I think it has all of those things. I will also say that James Islington's writing completely hooked me and drew me in straight away. I think he's not like the most lyrical or beautiful writer, but his story is great, and I really, really appreciate a good story with good characters, good magic, and all of the world building convincing enough to work, and I think this book definitely does that. I really hope the next book comes out soon. At the moment, I believe he's like on the final edits for book 2, so I'm hopeful that it will come out either next year or the year after, not too far away. But I loved this first one, and I have to say that I would highly recommend you guys check this out. If you're looking for a new fantasy series, then this is definitely one you can jump on from book 1 and carry on through the years when it comes out. I would recommend it hugely. I really enjoyed it. I'd love to hear if you guys have read this. I think you can get it fairly cheap on Kindle if you want to, so definitely check that out. And I'd certainly say that this is well worth a read. I ended up giving this a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I am desperate to know what's going to happen next. Do let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me.